Okay, we're asking the question, what's going to happen if the spiritual world responds to what this nut job is saying here, And let's face it, the likelihood of that is not very high. There's no evidence that the beings of nature are going to recognize that we could maybe cooperate and that it might be useful. But let's talk about what's going to happen. Well, first of all, a whole bunch of scientists are going to say if these birds do all this stuff that there's some kind of aberration and da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And religious people will have all kinds of goofy ideas. And even if somehow somebody takes this video and shows her these videos and says, well, look, this weird guy 21 days before this happened said this crazy stuff. And people come looking to me for answers. I don't got any answers. I got a lot of questions and a lot of things I think are true. And one of the things I think are true is the beings of the spiritual world have forgotten what it's like to be a human being. And of course, the oligarchs of wealth and the members of the political class and the media class that make life miserable for the rest of us for their own advantage. I mean, I like Brian, whatever his name is, on TV, and I think it's great when he shows up on Jon Stewart's show, and I think it's wonderful when they kiss each other's ass and talk about how great they are and do this love fest. But the fact is that Brian, whatever his name is, probably makes $10 million a year, and he doesn't need to make $10 million a year. These media folk, they don't need to make all this money. And of course then there's the black operations people with the CIA and all the rest of those cranky people running around trying to run the world and thinking they're saving us from some great monster out there in the world, and it's possibly true. And I'm just saying, give us a break. 2012's coming around, everything's getting worse and worse. It's probably going to continue to get worse all the way through 2011 and 2012. How about a little sign from the world of mystery via the beings of nature? A little tiny miracle. Where the birds and the bees and the squirrels all go marching on these various Capitol buildings and say, we're here too. We don't particularly like what goes on here. And by showing up and crapping all over these Capitol buildings and K Street and Wall Street, we're letting you know whose side we're on. We're on the side of the meek. We're on the side of the poor. Wake up and start to fix what's going on in the world, And even if people don't precisely understand it, there's going to be two things that I think really happen. One is that people's hearts are going to get a lift. They're going to realize that they're not alone, and that the world of spirit could possibly be real, and the world of spirit maybe would like things to be better for human beings. And that's going to help them stick to it, to continue to struggle with the political class and the media class and the wealthy class that try to run things and have ruined the world. They have ruined the world. The impulses coming out of them are impulses of ruin. And I'm not saying that everybody's perfect who's poor. I mean, we know that A lot of people in prison actually deserve to be in prison. They do very shitty things to people. But the justice system is a wreck. You know, the social services system is a wreck. You know, everything that we organize is a wreck. Civilization is falling apart. And it would be nice, as we transition to some kind of new civilization, that there was a little tiny vote cast by the invisible world that says, yeah, we're here too. And you know who's going to get it? Little kids. They're going to look at this on TV and they're going to see all those birds and squirrels and whatever that show up on these buildings, and they're going to go, oh, oh. A little bit of wonder is going to come back in the world. It's not totally materialistic. Wouldn't that be nice? I'd give my life for it, you know. If the cost of this adventure of mine says, well, you're going to die in the next couple of years or 2 weeks from now, or after I load these videos up, you can have my life. I don't think, you know, like I'm being a big martyr or anything. I'm just saying I'm tired. I'm tired of the crap rolling downhill and none of the crap falling on the rich and the famous. And let's have some of the crap, you know, and the birds can produce it, you know. They can produce tons of it. Let's have some of the crap start at the top. If the crap's going to roll down the hill all the way to the bottom, it ought to go through the bottom and up around and circle around and plop right on top of the media classes and the political classes and the rich classes and the lobbyist classes and all the rest of those people who think that they get to decide stuff for the rest of us. That's really for their own advantage. I mean, that's what they do, you know. It's for their own advantage. They don't do it for us. There's a few people in politics that actually try to do stuff for other people, but by and large, most of them are very self-serving, you know. Obama is not as cool as people think. He had the people from Goldman Sachs march into his campaign. He was with the CIA before he got into politics. Okay? Most of the candidates for president are useless. This is my rule, okay? 2 rules. 1 rule. Never believe what a politician says. Never. Only look at what they do, because it's what they do that counts. That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is, and this is only for a while, but I think we ought to vote against every incumbent. I don't care who gets in the White House. Elect Sarah Palin, for God's sakes. Don't elect Obama. Don't give Obama a second bite at the apple, because the people he works for are not your friends. We churn the politicians. We vote incumbents out, and we do this for a couple of decades, as long as we've got votes and can do it, until they get the idea that we're the government, not them.